Namaskar, welcome you all in the session 7 on disaster preparedness and response. In the last session 6, both part 1 and part 2, we have discussed disaster risk reduction DRR strategies. In fact, DRR strategy, preparedness and response are all interconnected components of a comprehensive disaster management framework. Now, let us consider what for disaster preparedness and response is. It is focused on minimizing the disaster impacts through organized planning and effective emergency response. It emphasizes collaborative strategies among stakeholders to protect lives and property, and it builds resilience through proactive measures. What are the core areas of disaster preparedness and response? Number 1 is emergency planning. Under emergency planning, we need to develop actionable plans to manage risk and allocate resources efficiently. It involves scenario based approaches and stakeholder engagement. Risk assessment, it identifies hazards and vulnerabilities through systematic data analysis. It guides prioritization of resources and policy interventions. Under community engagement, it ensures local populations participate in planning, drills and actual response. It encourages volunteerism, awareness campaigns and local leadership roles. Coordination and communication, it establishes clear channels among government bodies, NGOs and communities, and it enables real time information sharing for timely warning and evacuation efforts. What is emergency planning and response system? Under emergency planning, the first component is risk assessment. It identifies vulnerabilities and hotspots using historical data and predictive models. It helps decision makers allocate funds and personnel where most needed. Second is resource allocation. It ensures availability of essential supplies, equipment and trained personnel. It conducts gap analysis to determine areas needing additional support. Under operational protocols, it standardizes procedures for evacuation, search and rescue and shelter operation. It reduces confusion and response time during actual emergency. Then comes drills and training. It conducts regular mock drills exercises to test preparedness and refine their strategies. It trains first responders, volunteers and communities for real world scenario. Now, the role of national and local disaster management agencies. National agencies formulate overarching policies, allocate the national resource and guide disaster preparedness, such as National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) in India. It collaborates with international bodies to adopt global best practices and knowledge sharing, but the local bodies implement the national plans tailored to specific regional vulnerabilities and cultural context. It maintains on the ground infrastructure, early warning system and local emergency teams. Then comes collaboration and coordination. It fosters a smooth interaction between national frameworks and local sections. It shares data, expertise and resources for a unified efficient response. Then comes capacity building. Organizes training sessions and workshops for local stakeholders. It promotes technology adoption and enhance responsiveness and resilience. Then next preparedness comes in form of early warning system. The importance of this is to provide timely alerts that facilitate early evacuation and reduce disaster impacts. Various technology used like radar, satellite and SMS based alerts for real time hazard detection. AI driven analytics can enhance the accuracy and speed of warning. Then comes public awareness. It educates communities on interpreting alerts and knowing how to respond effectively. For example, cyclone warning system along coastlines have greatly minimized the casualty in India. Then comes risk assessment and hazard mapping. Under risk assessment, first comes hazard identification, identifying and mapping areas prior to floods, earthquakes, cyclones and other disasters. Using historical data and scientific models to pinpoint hazard high risk zones. GIS technology is is implied. Geographical information system overlay hazard data with population, infrastructure and demographic details, enabling better visualization of risk distribution and planning for evacuation routes. Then comes resource allocation, prioritizing budget and emergency resources for most vulnerable regions, guiding policy decisions on infrastructural development and reinforcement. There are some case studies, flood prone regions applying hazard maps to strategize early evacuation, reduce casualties and streamline relief operations. Then comes community engagement and awareness. Under awareness campaign, the issue is educating the public through media, workshop and school programs about disaster types, safe practices and response protocols. Local knowledge integration, incorporating indigenous and community knowledge such as local warning signs and traditional coping methods into official plans. Participation in drills, organizing community-wide simulations for floods, earthquakes or cyclones as well as mock drills. Then come empowerment, providing resources, basic first aid kits, communication tools and training to local volunteers, fostering leadership within the community to coordinate a response effectively. Coordination and communication disaster response. Under this, there is a system of unified command structures. It is required setting up a single coordination framework for a smooth decision making among various agencies. Real-time communication, to utilize centralized platforms including mobile apps and secure radio channels to share urgent information. To minimize response delays by streamlined data exchange between responders. Then come public messaging, delivering accurate and timely update via television, radio, social media and public address system. Then comes collaboration among agencies, integrating local government emergency services, NGOs and international organizations for a cohesive response. Then comes search and rescue operations. Under search and rescue operations, there is an immediate response, rapid deployment of 10 teams to locate victims and conduct emergency rescues, establishing incident command posts near affected areas for quick action, specialized training, equipping responders with skills for rubble search, water rescue and confined space entry, ensuring professional standards through regular drilling and certifications. Advanced equipments, using thermal imaging cameras, drones, cutting edge hydraulic tools to speed up rescue efforts. Next one is employing canine units and remote sensing technologies for difficult terrain. Then coordination with NGO, partnering with volunteer groups and relief organizations to broaden coverage, streamlining handovers between different teams for medical attention and shelter provision. Then comes provision of the emergency shelter. Initially there will be a temporary shelter, setting up tents, school buildings and community halls as immediate safe haven for displaced communities, ensuring availability of the clean water, sanitation and basic healthcare facilities. Transitional housing, it offers semi-permanent solutions like prehab homes when displaced populations cannot return quickly. And third comes the long-term solutions, rebuilding resilient housing using disaster resistant materials and designs, integrating risk reducing infrastructure like elevated foundations in flood prone area, inclusive planning, providing special facilities for volunteer groups like elderly, differently abled and the children. Now next comes flood and water security during disasters. Emergency food supplies, distribution of the ready to eat meals and high energy biscuits, community kitchens, centralized meal preparations for equitable food distributions, water purification units, potable system for ensuring access to clean drinking water, and sanitation is the most important, building temporary toilets and washing areas in the shelters. Then comes medical care in disaster response. Emergency medical teams, there is rapid trauma care and stabilization for the injured. Vaccination campaigns preventing disease outbreaks in crowded relief camps. Then comes mental health support, very much required there. Specialized care services for children, pregnant women and the elderly. Then comes technology in disaster preparedness and response. Early warning system for real time alerts, search enhancements through drones and GPS, resource monitoring through digital platforms for tracking supplies and personnel. Next comes role of training and capacity building. First responder training, equipping local teams with life saving skills. Then comes community drills. Then comes technical expertise. Then comes capacity building programs which required strengthening institutional framework for disaster management. Next is disaster relief operations. Disaster relief operations, first point is coordination with the NGOs, partnering with humanitarian organizations for comprehensive relief, efficient resource distribution, avoiding duplication and ensuring equitable access to the aid, focus on vulnerable groups, transition to recovery, and next comes international aid and cooperation. And most important in that is role of United Nations, bilateral assistance, countries offering direct support in rescue operations and financial aid. Then comes NGO contributions in form of specialized support in healthcare, shelter and community rebuilding. The challenges in coordination comes addressing the logistics and the political hurdles. Let us discuss challenges in disaster preparedness. First is the limitation of the resource, second is coordination gaps, and the third is public awareness issues, and the fourth most important is rapid urbanization, that is increasing vulnerability in unplanned urban areas. Now let us try to discuss some lessons from the past disasters. Success stories. During cyclone Phali 2013 in India, over 1 million people were evacuated from landfall of the cyclone, significantly reducing the casualties. A strong coordination among government agencies and timely warnings provided decisive aid. Let us discuss a case of failure. Hurricane Katrina in 2005 exposed serious coordination gaps in the United States, where local, state and federal authorities suggested to align relief efforts. Delayed evacuation and unclear communication worsened the crisis. What is the key takeaway of this? Preparedness, clear communication and resilient infrastructure are vital to saving lives and minimizing damage in large scale disasters. Then what is the role of policy and governance? First one is the national framework. Policies like the Sendai framework guide global strategies, setting targets and best practices for disaster risk reduction. These frameworks enable countries to align their national plans with international standards and then local adaptation. Policies must be tailored to address unique regional vulnerabilities, including geographical and social economic factors. This ensures on ground measures are practical, culturally sensitive and widely accepted by the local communities. Then accountable mechanism, transparent use of resources, regular audits, clear reporting structures build public trust. Performance indicators and feedback loops help refine policies for continued effectiveness. Now next point is community led disaster management. Under this, empowering the communities, supporting grassroots disaster initiatives, creating a volunteer networks, training local volunteers for immediate response, developing inclusive strategies, engaging marginalized groups in disaster planning. Next point of discussion is innovations in disaster management. Artificial intelligence and big data predicting hazards and optimizing evacuation routes. Smart sensors in form of real time monitoring of infrastructure and hazard zones. Then virtual simulations required for training responders in a risk free environment. Then how we can build resilience for future disasters? Number 1 is sustainable development, integrating disaster risk reduction into urban planning. Number 2 is education and awareness, building a culture of preparedness in schools and communities. Number 3 is community partnerships, strengthening local capabilities through collaborations. Then what is the way forward? The way forward is number 1, investment in preparedness, allocating resources to risk assessments, training and early warning system. Second is international cooperation, strengthening partnership for grassroots and global disaster management. Third is focus on sustainability, ensuring strategies address long term resilience. With this, let us move on to closing the session, and prior to closing, let us discuss few points as part of the summary what we have discussed today. Number 1, importance of proactive measures in disaster management. Number 2, integrated approaches combining technologies, policies and community management. And number 3, we have a vision for building a resilient, prepared society for future challenges. With this, I am closing this session. We will see you all in the next session. Thank you very much. Namaskar.